Hey everyone, it is Delancey. Welcome back. As I'm sure many of you know, in the online book community, the Reading Rush is back for another year this late July, and I am so happy about this. The Reading Rush was one of the first readathons I participated in long before I ever considered making a YouTube channel, and I will link all of the readathon and creator info in the description box below. So today I'm going to be sharing my TBR plans for this event, and as I'm sure you all know, again, life has been kind of crazy lately and stressful, both in the outside world as well as for me personally in my internal world, and so I really wanted to take back my sense of peace this month, and I think the Reading Rush is a really great way to do so. So yeah, that's kind of the theme and mindset I have going into this, just a week of self-love. So the first reading challenge is to read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone. And this was a little tricky at first for me. I was born in the month of June, and when I looked up June birthstones, I got like 4 different options from pearl to alexandrite. And then alexandrite comes in like green, pink, purple, and navy colors. So I was a little confused, and I decided to keep my options open and look for purple, blue, or teal covers. And I have just been in such a mood for romance lately, so I settled on The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I'll be relying on my library for this one, so I've made a list of backups as well in case it's not available. And The Hating Game is an adult romance novel about these competing coworkers in a corporate office, and eventually these 2 coworkers go head-to-head for a job promotion when suddenly the woman character Lucy realizes she may actually be attracted to her rival Joshua. And as their fighting turns to flirting, the 2 can't tell if their chemistry is honest or just a game, and of course, cue the rom-com vibes. The second prompt was to read a book that starts with the word the, and I immediately knew which one to grab, and that was The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I got this book back in June and have been waiting for the right time to finally read it. The Vanishing Half is an adult historical fiction novel starting in the 1950s, and we follow these twin sisters who grow up together in a small southern Black community, and while one sister spends her entire life there, the other marries a white man and is able to leave town for good. And yet, the twins' fates remain intertwined when their own daughters' storylines intersect decades later. And I've heard really great things about this book. It sounds so interesting, and I really can't wait. Next on the list was to read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen, and this one was also a little tricky. I jumped online and perused so many book/movie adaptation lists, and I realized that I do in fact mindfully avoid movies when I haven't read the book. And then of course I ran into Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, and I was like, wait a minute, Delancey, are you really about to read Crazy Rich Asians for the 3rd time? And yeah, I totally am. So I'm going to be doing a reread of one of my all-time favorites, and this time I do hope to do some annotating along the way. And great news, I'll also use this book to fulfill the 7th reading prompt, which is to read a book that takes place on a different continent from where you live. And since this book takes place primarily in Singapore, I am all set. The next challenge is to read the first book you touch, which was purposefully up to interpretation, and I decided to use a graphic novel for this prompt. And last year my brother bought me a bunch of starter manga books in the hopes of getting me into the genre, and I still need to get through all of them. So I closed my eyes and reached for the first one and ended up picking Haiku by Hiruchi Furudate. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. This series is about a men's volleyball team, which is kind of random, but apparently it is absolutely amazing and people are like die-hard fans for this story. So I'm really excited and we'll see. I'm going to also use this book for the next prompt, which is to read an entire book outside of your home. Since this graphic novel is really short, I think I'll definitely be able to swing that even in the hot summer weather where I live. And finally, the last reading challenge is to pick a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. And I personally always strive to read more nonfiction, so I plan on selecting The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. This book is about the timeless art of turning trials into triumphs, which is something I could really use right now. And I believe the teachings in here stem from the philosophical principles of Marcus Aurelius, which just sounds super interesting. I'll also be grabbing this book from the library, so once again, I have a few backups just in case this book isn't available, and some of those backups include Ego is the Enemy and You Are a Badass. Well, you guys, that is going to do it for my Reading Rush TBR. Comment down below. Let me know if you're participating and or what you plan on reading this July. I hope you are all staying healthy and happy and seeking out personal peace this season as well. Till next time, you guys.